My honor to have my next guest. He's calling the game tonight with Mark Jackson, Mike Green, and one and only Coach Jeff Van Gundy. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
You're the coach of this game. What adjustments do you make if you're Tyronn Lue for the Cavs?
Well, I think anytime you start talking about adjustments, first of all, I don't think adjustments are understood very well. There's not some great technique that you're going to adjust from one game to the next. The biggest adjustment usually is in intensity, in passion, and shot making. And so what they need, as you mentioned before, is shot making. I think they're going to try to get Rodney Hood in there to try to get more shot making, as Jordan Clarkson has struggled a bit. And other than that, I think you may see them alter their pick and roll coverage when Kevin Love is involved against Steph Curry, try to stay away from one-on-one plays, Love versus Curry.
How do you think the Cavs will respond, particularly the role players? We all anticipate we know what LeBron's going to do. What about the rest of these guys? How are they going to respond to this challenge, Coach?
You know, it's hard. It's a hard series for them because Golden State's so good defensively that it's hard to get good looks. And yet, at times, they've been wide open and have just missed. I say that Kevin Love, to me, has to provide the spark that he did in Game 1. He's the most talented of the role players. He can score in many different ways. I'd like to see him get on that offensive board and get easy buckets around the rim.
Why isn't more noise being made in favor of a Kyle Korver, considering the fact that he's shooting 44% from threes throughout the playoffs? I watched him in the game the other day, played 7 minutes in the first half, doesn't attempt a shot, plays 17 minutes rather in Game 2, doesn't attempt more than 3 shots. Doesn't he need to be more of a focal point in this series?
It's hard to get him shots in this series unless they're out in transition. Because in transition, it's hard to concentrate on any one guy. But in the half court, they're switching every screen that he's involved with, and he's not going to beat you off the dribble. He's a dependent player. He needs others to either dribble penetrate and create a shot for him or to set a great screen for him. And out in the screening stuff, they're very good at it, but they're switching those screens and making it hard on them.
Well, Coach, what worked so well for Cleveland in Game 1 that made the game go into overtime? What worked so well for
LeBron James.
Okay, that's it? That's it? I understand the 51.
No, you know what happened in that game? This is why I hate replay.
Okay.
So all we talked about after that game was J.R. Smith's blunder and whether the block charge should have been overturned.
Okay.
And, oh, by the way, the third storyline, LeBron James scored over 50 for only the 6th time in NBA history. That got pushed to the background. I mean, he was absolutely without peer in that game. I thought Golden State was soft on him. I think in Game 2, they got into him a little bit harder, made it more challenging. But LeBron James was just absolutely superior. And Kevin Love quietly played very well on the offensive end.
So what are you telling me? That in order for the Cleveland Cavaliers to win a game in this series, we got to see another 50 from LeBron?
No, we do have to see greatness. We have to see some 1 or 2 guys help, and I think they have to win the possession game. Game 1, they absolutely pounded Golden State on the board, and they kept their turnovers relatively low. Game 2, they didn't have that rebounding advantage. It's going to be hard for them to win if they don't dominate the board and keep their turnovers low.
Do you see anything different from the Golden State Warriors this year compared to what you saw last year that gives you some sort of indication that maybe we can witness a clunker tonight and maybe Cleveland takes advantage?
Well, I don't think Golden State's as good as they were last year. I think they have shown that throughout the season. Whether it's their hunger factor, a health factor with Iguodala, whatever it is, they're just not as good. But that doesn't mean that Cleveland is the team to take advantage of that. I think Houston was the only team that could have possibly beaten them in a series. I thought Houston did a great job in that series, just didn't have enough in Game 7 without Chris Paul.
I know it's not your forte. It's not your thing to do because you're a coach. You know the game inside and out. You're exceptional with X and O's. Your commentary is exceptional. But is there any way that Jeff Van Gundy can get into the hope business, to look at the audience out there and give them some shred of hope as to what the Cavaliers can do to win a game tonight?
Absolutely. LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James. There's your hope.
That's it.
Well, that's your best hope.
Right. Nothing else from anybody else.
Well, no, the other guys can play well, but it starts with him setting a tone offensively, maybe gets the Warriors in foul trouble, pushing it in transition, and defensively, he's got to be great. But then they got to rebound. I mean, they really got to rebound the ball. So I think there's more than a little bit of hope. Cleveland's very good at home.
Well, I'm proud to hear you say that, Coach. I'm very, very proud. I was wondering about you there. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it. Have a great game calling it with Mark Jackson and Mike Green. Coming up next, first things first, we saw Draymond Green coming into the arena. We